Hello, this is Louie Johnson reporting for the CWBS News at 6 p.m. I'm going to show you the key events of the 1970s. The 1970s started with the hippie era and ended with the punk era. Now, it was also the year that my mum and dad were born. It is now 1970. Apollo 13 takes off, and while in the air, a horrible thing goes wrong. We are now going to experience some of the footage of what is happening.
Houston says that they will get back to Earth alive only if the lunar module's systems work perfectly all the way. So, for the first time in the history of spaceflight, the American spaceflight, there is no backup system to save them if anything goes wrong. The lunar landing has, of course, been called off. At this moment, about 30,000 miles out from the moon and accelerating fast in towards it, the crew are aiming to curve in behind the moon and, out of contact with Earth, fire the only engine they have left, the lunar module's descent engine.
It's now 1971. Mount Etna has erupted after 43 years. It is also one of the most famous events in 1970. Let's go live to see what is happening at Mount Etna. It is now 1972. President Nixon has made a historical visit to communist China. It is the first time a Western or American has visited communist China. We're going to see a little bit of footage of what it's like over there.
In February 1972, President Nixon embarked on a history-making trip to China. He was the first Western head of state to visit Beijing since Mao Zedong took over the mainland in 1949. A series of high-level meetings set the stage for a return to normal relations by the two great powers.
And so let us, in these next 5 days, start a long march together.
It is now 1973. It is the start of the OPEC oil crisis. No one can get fuel for their cars, and some people can't get any oil for their bikes. Let's go and see some live footage of the news over there.
This is NBC Nightly News, Wednesday, October 17th. Reported by John Chancellor.
Good evening. The Middle East war produced developments all over the world today. The oil-producing countries of the Arab world decided to use their oil as a political weapon. They will reduce oil production by 5% a month until the Israelis withdraw from occupied territories.
It's now 1974. Richard Nixon has just retired from being president. This is another historical moment that President Nixon, or Richard Nixon, has done. We're now going to see a little bit of the speech that has happened earlier today.
But the interests of the nation must always come before any personal considerations. From the discussions I have had with congressional and other leaders, I have concluded that because of the Watergate matter, I might not have the support of the Congress that I would consider necessary to back the very difficult decisions and carry out the duties of this office in the way the interests of the nation will require. I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
It's now 1975. The USA has just lost against the Vietnam battle. There's been an evacuation. People have lost their lives, even children who've been hanging over the side of the boat. We're now going to see some footage of what is happening from Vietnam.
The docks on Tuesday morning were crammed with thousands of Vietnamese desperate to escape from Saigon by any means possible. Large, old American landing craft had been with more than 1,000 people who were going to attempt the impossible, try and sail down the river to the sea. The sandbags were to stop the B-40 rockets and communist shells that would certainly be fired at them in their journey.
It's now 1976. Viking 1 has just landed on Mars. It's the first time ever human beings have seen pictures of another planet. We are now going to see some images of what is happening today.
With Dan Rather substituting for Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. Mars from the surface. Man's age-old dream of a close-up look at what it's like on another planet and of searching for life there today became a reality.
It's now 1977. Elvis Presley, or some people know it as, the king of rock and roll, has just died. We are now going to see some historical video of what is happening.
CBS News. Elvis Presley, king of popular music, is dead at the age of 42.
The undisputed king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, is dead. He died this afternoon here in his adopted hometown of Memphis after apparently collapsing at his South Memphis mansion. And the mayor has ordered all flags in the city to be flown at half-staff.
This is Channel 7's Eyewitness News. Tonight with Fahey Flynn, Joel Daly.
It's now 1978. 2 popes have died this year, and there's a new pope. We're now going to go to Vatican City to see who the new pope is. Everything the new pope is going to say is in Latin.
Si spalanca la vetrata della loggia delle benedizioni e il cardinale Perito e Felici annuncia:
Habemus Papam! Dominum Carolum, Sancte Romane Ecclesiae, Cardinalem Wojtyła.
It is now 1979. Margaret Thatcher has just been elected as the first female Prime Minister. Let's go down to 10 Downing Street to see what Margaret Thatcher's first speech is going to be.
Plainclothes police out of a car behind her. Mrs. Thatcher out onto the doorstep.
On the 4th of May, Margaret Thatcher was elected Prime Minister with a Commons majority of 43 seats. On arriving at Downing Street, she made one of the most memorable, if not universally well-received speeches of her prime ministerial career.
It's the greatest honour that can come to any citizen in a democracy.
Thank you for watching this news report of the 1970s. This has been Louie Johnson reporting for CWBS News. Thank you and goodbye.
If you change your mind, take a chance, I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got your